At 11 o'clock, we got the last game of the day. We got Stanford, who's 1-2, traveling to number 13, Oregon, who's 3-1. Oregon favored by 17 points on FS1. And Tanner McKee, I hardly know her, gone 59-88, thrown for 814 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. E.J. Smith on the ground has had 30 carries for 206 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Michael Wilson has had 13 catches for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns. Bo Nix through the air has gone 95 at 132, thrown for 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Bucky Irving has had 38 carries for 265 yards and a touchdown. And Troy Franklin has had 20 catches for 339 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stanford leads the series all time 50-34. And they did win the last game in 2021. Last Oregon victory was 2020. So I think what is going to be pretty interesting about this football game, right? Oregon's coming off an absolute thriller against Washington State, a game you likely shouldn't have had if you're a Ducks fan. I feel like you can all admit that it's a game that you snuck by and you won. Game that you probably shouldn't have. If Washington State does, anything smart near the end of that football game, if they're competent in the fourth quarter, you lose that football game. You were clutch, I'll give you that. 29 points in the fourth is a huge clutch move, but I hate to break it to you, Oregon fans, that was a game you probably should have lost. You probably should be eliminated from playoff contention right now, but yet you aren't. Number 13 in the country, and probably one of the Pac-12's best shots at making the playoffs outside of probably maybe the Utes and USC. Probably the best shot for the playoffs is the Ducks. Stanford coming off a loss where they kind of got dominated by Washington, and that's kind of like that was a game that was kind of embarrassing if you're a Stanford fan. There's not a lot to look forward to in this football game, if I'm going to be honest. Oregon, it would be key for a letdown, right? But 17 points just isn't enough of a spread. Stanford isn't that good of a football team. Like, they're not as awful as they're not as awful as Arizona State, but they are pretty bad. And Oregon is a significantly better football team from them. I expect there to be a little bit of a letdown. Maybe it's close in the first half, but I think Oregon pulls away in the second and they cover the 17-point spread.